Hi, my name is Brett Allen, and this last week I gave a presentation at Washington Realtors Education Conference called Squeeze Pages for Realtors. And so in this review, I'm actually going to just review myself. What I thought I would do is just create an abbreviated version of this presentation for you, for those who are here on my website, so you can check it out. Squeeze pages are an interesting thing. When it comes to our efforts to reach out and get connected with our niche market to generate leads, squeeze pages are a very, very strategically and tactically important way to do that. But before we can really talk about squeeze pages, we really need to talk about hugs. And so my question for you and for my class that day, or for the group, is not really class, just I don't know, 800 people there. How do you feel about hugs? How do you feel? If someone wants to hug you, how do you feel about it? My experience has been that there's different kinds of hugs. Some hugs are the kind of hugs that are okay. We're all right with those kind of hugs. Some hugs are just for fun. They're cute, they're enjoyable, they're entertaining. Some hugs really come from the depths of our heart. And I've noticed that some hugs lead to other kind of hugs. Now, if you look at this guy right here, I don't think I've seen a happier face on the entire planet. Different kinds of hugs. Some hugs I've noticed are beyond our control. We just can't help ourselves. We have to let it out. The Olympic is a great source for awesome hugs. And of course, some hugs are mandatory. This is the third place ice skater hugging the first place ice skating girl. And you can see, not quite. Some hugs we might say, I don't know that I really, really want to step up and partake of this hug. Maybe I'll just leave it for the next guy, right? And of course, there are some hugs that there's just no way we're going to get involved with, right? We're just going to walk away, totally walk away. Now, some hugs don't really feel like hugs. Some hugs feel more like we're being aggressively, wrestled to the ground and hogtied. And some hugs just feel like entrapment. Now, the reason I would say squeeze pages are like hugs is because we need to establish this point, and that is that squeeze pages are not good or bad, just like hugs are not good or bad. It's the circumstances in which we are participating in the hug or the squeeze page that will deem whether it's a good or bad hug. So the question is, what is a squeeze page? Here's an example of a squeeze page. Kevin Miller, realtor out here where I live, created this for him. Receive your own custom foreclosure list. He's got these great foreclosure things, these lists of foreclosures, and he can provide this information freely and easily to people who take an interest in him. The thing about a hug or a squeeze page is that it has a very, very similar format. And that is an anatomy that you can follow. The first part is, and you'll start seeing these all over the place now that I've explained this to you, there's a headline at the top and sometimes a subhead, and then there's a pitch. It's usually either video or text or imagery. It's going to make the case for why you should hug. And of course, the capture box is the action that we're taking. Usually it's a request for your email in exchange for some sort of what I call a digital object. It's an item that you're going to get in receiving or in the exchange of giving them your email. And sometimes the email is required because we got to just send it to them like a special report. We'll just automatically send it right to their email. So if we look at this squeeze page, we can see along the top we've got right up here we've got this header, and we've got a subhead, and we've got the capture, or I mean the pitch, and then over here is our capture box. Now here's the thing that's interesting about this, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in the video as we go on, but the thing is if we already know who Kevin Miller is, if we already know who the person is that's reaching out to us, it significantly increases the likelihood that we're going to, give him a hug, right? If I know, hey, I've seen this guy all over the place, I'm interested in buying a foreclosure or an investment property, or even just, curious what's going on in my neighborhood, we're going to be able to increase the likelihood that the people are going to act if we're sending it and marketing it directly to the people that already know us. So sometimes the headline is a shock and awe. It's a, hey, let me capture your attention. But a lot of times it's a reminder that's like, oh, I know this guy. This is information this is a trustable source. This is someone that I'm willing to give my email to. In fact, they may already have it. Sally Hogshead wrote a book called Fascinate. She's marvelous. If you've seen her, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. She says all markets function like online dating markets. We need to be able to get people to fall in love with our ideas. And I think this follows what Seth Godin said in his book Permission Marketing, and that is that we need to effectively date our customers. We need to build a relationship with them, and of course, a hug is a part of that. So, we like squeeze pages when they come from friends and people we trust. Now, if we're going to step back a little bit and talk about our social media or even just our marketing objectives, if you work with me, you'll know at eComprehend Consulting, we believe that there are 3 underlying goals. And if you're not meeting one or a lot of times 2 or 3 of these goals with everything you're doing, then in my mind, it's a waste of time. Why are you on Facebook? Why do you have a Facebook page? Why do you have a blog? If it isn't expanding your sphere, if it isn't developing rapport or building trust, if it isn't generating leads and referrals or direct business, then it really isn't something you should be doing. It's probably a waste of your time. There's something that's called the long tail, and that is that in today's society, because of the internet, we can reach deep into the distribution tail, and we can get connected with the exact people that need us to solve their problems. So if you think about your community or your town, right? Who is looking to buy a house within a 5-mile square? That is deep down, you know. It's not something that everyone's going to, right? The news channels are going to report on the things that affect the larger groups, but who's providing information on the specifics, the really deep into the niche things? This is where we want to focus our efforts for our squeeze pages. My experience has been that the 80-20 principle not only applies with our marketing on the internet, but it really specifically applies to squeeze pages. There are squeeze pages that can be effective, and there are squeeze pages that aren't effective. And truthfully, when you look at the larger picture of your internet marketing, squeeze pages are the effort, that 20% effort that produces the 80% results. So how does it work? Like anything, you need a cue stick to shoot pool, but you could take that stick and bat someone on the head or scrape it across the table, and it's not going to be effective. You need to know how to use it. So the first thing we need to understand about the 80-20 principle is that your blogging, your Facebooking, your Twittering, all these different things are part of your internet marketing strategies. And the question is, what percentage of your results are they producing? I believe that squeeze pages produce 80% of your results. They're the 20% of effort. And if you're a realtor and you're wearing a lot of hats, especially if you're going to try to do this yourself, then it's really important that we buckle down and we figure out how to do this so we can automate what I call the sharing of your brain. Let me give you an example, and then we'll come back to this. Here's a squeeze page I threw together. It says, 17 tips to stage your home like a professional. Are you putting your home on the market? Get my free report so you can stage your home like a pro. There's so much information that we have as realtors that we can easily share with other people. And in fact, it's what you're doing most of the time. You're talking to people, you're answering questions. If we syndicate ourselves, especially if we created what I call a digital object, a little video, or a special report, and we make that available to them on the internet on their time frame, so they can run into us. They're searching, they go to our website, however it is, they see the ad we've posted on Facebook, they're meeting with us on their terms, then they can get that information and we can start developing a relationship of trust with them. Another example, like we talked about before, receive your own custom foreclosure list today. In this, they can get the information that they want. There's someone that you trust, and they can get it on their own term, and you are sharing your brain with them. Here's another example. Realtor marketing secrets revealed. Hey, realtors, learn how to use niche market data to wow your prospects. Now, this is an example of a realtor who's actually showcasing his skill set to other realtors. He's experienced. This works beneficially for him in a couple ways. Number one is he can get the return that he wants in sharing his experience with other agents, but also if I'm a consumer, a home buyer, seller in that neighborhood, not only am I going to be impressed by him as an agent, I'm going to see like, whoa, he's one of the guys that trains the other people. and I can get access to this information too. I might feel like hey, I'm getting something a little special. I'm getting access to information that's maybe only available to realtors. There are different kinds of squeeze pages. Sometimes, like this is an example of a sales page. It looks like a squeeze page, but literally it just goes on and on and on. If you print it, it's like 50 pages. Some squeeze pages, or the mechanism of squeezing, is something that we might just put into an existing page. Like here it is in a sidebar of a blog. It's a squeeze. And of course, sometimes whole websites are effectively 5 or 10 page ads to try to squeeze people. And I just show you this Blog Marketing Academy because I really like Dave. I like what he's doing. He's a great example if you're trying to learn how to blog. Here's a website that I created. It's a squeeze page that's trying to generate some volume, and we've actually not just from the website, but with other things. In the first 3 weeks of this, we've been able to capture the attention of over 100,000 people in the specific area, over 15,000 direct viral shares, over almost 600 people have liked this page, and we've brought in over $20,000. We've got a goal of 100,000. It's a great example of how squeeze pages can be used to share virally with the people that we already know. And I can't stress that enough. Another form of the squeeze page you'll see is that of pop-up. I kind of liken this to that cowboy that's like, roping the calf or got the pigs on the back of his motorcycle. This is an uninvited squeeze page. It often is kind of my experience has been it's a little bit over the top. You have to really have a relationship with people to start throwing this one on them. I would recommend in real estate maybe holding off on that. So here's the secret. Here's the secret to how squeeze pages work. We need to market to our existing sphere. Yes, we can use squeeze pages very effectively to reach beyond our existing sphere and bring people into it, and I endorse that. But where the real power comes is when we share our brains automatically through digital objects using squeeze pages with the people that already know us. They already trust us. So you're talking to someone, they're like, you know what, I don't really understand how to work through this pre-foreclosure process, or how to go to the auction to buy a foreclosure, or how to stage my house, or I'm a first-time home buyer. We can have that conversation. We can take them to coffee, but we could also point them to our website. We could send them an email that says, you know what, I've created a video about this. Go check out this website. And they'll go to the website, they'll put in their email, they'll get the information, and now you've got them in your drip email campaign for the long haul. Or you can post it on Facebook, or you can post ads on Facebook, and you can send those ads not to the entire state of California, to everyone who's over 50, but literally a specific list of people that are already connected to you on Facebook. If you're connecting with your niche, then you can reach out to them specifically and save yourself some bucks and only advertise to the people that already love you, or at least know who you are and don't abhor you, right? We can use Google AdWords, we can use Twitter. There's all these different ways that we can get publicity to our squeeze pages. But the key to the squeeze page, and we're getting under the hood here. Oh, here's one more example. This is a nice one. I like this. I love my beach house in Ocean Shores, but the 25 things you absolutely must know before ever buying a home in Ocean Shores, Washington. Watch this quick video to learn what every homeowner must know about living full or part-time in Ocean Shores, Washington. This is a great one that I could send to anyone, but it also works really well with people I already know. Oh, I know this guy, trust this guy, I will check this out. So how does it work under the hood? We've got the squeeze page, there's a header, a pitch, a capture box. Once they send in their email, we're going to do what's called a double opt-in confirmation. We're going to deliver the object, they're added to our email list, they're added to a drip email campaign, which is another topic, but it allows us an opportunity to build relationships of trust with them. We then will receive an email automatically, or you can even set it up so you get a text. So the cool thing is you can know immediately when someone has stepped onto your platform, if someone has come your way and given you that little hug. So these are important for us to know. And let's see, I think there's an email right here, or a page that just shows. These are some of the main email list providers. Now, what I like to do, and this is what I provided people in my class, and that was that it's normally I charge $1,200 to build this for you. I will do it for 600 bucks. If you're watching this video and it's not past November, it's not past Thanksgiving, then you can have it for this price. Give me a call.